I got no idea what to do today. Hey there guys, so I am back, and today I thought it was a good time to do a book collection that I have that includes mangas, visual guides, comics, novels, anything really, because I haven't really got any ideas what I'm going to do today, really, because I am working on some projects and there isn't much films out at the moment. I mean, next Monday I will be doing my Dumbo review, but really there isn't much to do, so I thought it was a perfect opportunity to show you my collection. Firstly, I'll be doing mangas, then I will be doing my visual guides, then I will be doing my comic books, then I'll be doing my novels last. So starting off with my mangas, and I remember back about 2015 I really wanted to get into mangas because everybody was reading mangas, and I do enjoy anime. I'm not a hardcore anime fan compared to loads of people, but I thought it was a good time to get really into it. And when I finished college and started working, I thought, hey, I'm going to get into some manga, and I didn't know which one to get into really, and I picked up what is one of the most popular ones. So I'll show you. I've only collected 2 series of mangas and I retired because manga is really, it's so time consuming. I think there's a lot of money into it because a series can go up to like 27 volumes, and that's about like, I really can't add it up, maybe like 150 quid, and it really is time consuming. If you read a manga, then go back to the shops, get a manga, because it took me years to finish these series, and I would rather read other stuff as well. So yeah, I'm officially stopped reading manga, I'm retired from it. And I'll show you the first series that I started collection, and that was the Dead Man Wonderland collection. I'll show you each volume: volume 1, volume 2, volume 3, volume 4, volume 5, volume 6, volume 7, volume 8, volume 9, volume 10, volume 11, volume 12, volume 13. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. It took, I think I started back in early 2015 and finished about mid 2017 because it is really time consuming really. And so the plot of Dead Man Wonderland, the premise of it, it's basically like the Hunger Games or Battle Royale set in a prison, but you have people of all ages, so you could be like a child to fight an adult and people would watch it really. That's kind of the main premise of Dead Man Wonderland. I haven't watched the anime yet, but I'm planning to. But if you want to get into manga, yeah, it's a good start to get into it really. I'm planning to sell these at some point. I'm not going to give them away because I think they're worth a lot of money. So I'm going through some buyers at the moment if they're interested in. Okay, then the next one, and I think this really is the most popular one, and that's the Dragon Ball, the original Dragon Ball. Let me try and shape it up so it can become a dragon. Okay. Does that make sense? Let me try one more time. Let me try. Okay, got it. Yay! So yeah, I mean, Dragon Ball is one of the most popular animes out there. I've not watched the Dragon Ball series. I haven't watched any of the other series like GT, Kai, Super, Z, whatever. So I thought, hey, I'm gonna get into Dragon Ball, and I started reading it, and I really liked it. And it took me about, it took me 3 years to finish it really, because I'm a bit of a slow reader, but it's annoying going back there and back. But I am planning to sell these. But if you want to get into Dragon Ball, I recommend it. Or you could just watch the anime. Maybe I should have just watched the anime really. But I really enjoyed it, and it really sets up Dragon Ball Z nicely. There's a lot of fun action stuff in it. But it is pretty solid. I am planning to sell this again. I mean, 16 volumes. I'm so glad I didn't get into Dragon Ball Z because that is about like 27 volumes really. But overall, yeah, I'm retired from manga, and I'm also trying to sell these at some point. Now, moving on to my visual guides now, and it's such a small collection because I don't really collect it that much. And some of these are pretty much from my childhood, so I'll just go through them quickly. So I do have the episode 1 visual guide of Star Wars, which I really like. I absolutely adore these, really, because it just gives you so much about, not just about characters, but also the stories and like just the little things, just like devices and battle droids and stuff like that, because you know, I just adore that kind of stuff because I am a Star Wars junkie. I also have the episode 2 one. Again, this is amazing. I absolutely love reading these back when I was a kid. Yeah, it just gives you so much. I do have one for the episode 3. Oh man, this is like amazing. And I do actually have one for episode 7, funny enough. Again, it's just really gives you so much. And I remember I was just hyping over Force Awakens and I saw this in W.H. Smith, so I had to pick it up and just get everything, every little nugget as possible. I don't have any of the other ones. I don't have like the original trilogy one or episode 8 or Rogue One or Solo because I just don't have the room for it really. And alright, the next one is a Spider-Man one. I think as a kid I was a massive Spider-Man fan, I still am today, and I really just adore this so much. I mean, it is kind of battered up really, but it just gives you stuff about characters and villains and comic really. It gives you quite a lot actually. But if you want it, I think this is, if you're a hardcore Spider-Man fan, you need to get this. The next one is actually, yeah, I got 2 more left. So the next one is this Batman one, which I have not really touched because I've only got this like a couple of years ago, and I'm kind of like, I'm a bit too old for this, really. I mean, I read it. It's really interesting. I am planning trying to like sell it or sell it really. I'm not going to like give it away because it is actually quite worth a lot of money. So I'd be chucking money away, but I don't really need it per se, but yeah, I think it's anyone for a hardcore Batman fan really. And the next one is probably my favourite visual guide out of all of them, and that's the Power Rangers one. I got this about back in October for my birthday. My mum got it for me, and I have to say this is my favourite birthday present in like, I think in like 2 years. This was so, no, my favourite birthday present last year. I mean 2 years I had a really great birthday, but anyway, this is amazing. For any Power Ranger fan, I highly recommend it. Really, it just goes you like what happened behind the scenes, how did Power Rangers get created, why did each season go for particular directions really for each actors, producers, creators, everything you could just imagine. And it gives you some really great artwork, some really good set designs. I absolutely just adore this. This is my favourite visual guide that I own. I would probably do like if I did like a top 5 favourite things that I've owned in terms of Power Rangers, this would be in my top 5, of course. So up next is the comic books, and I've got a ton of comic books to go through, but the one I'm currently reading at the moment is the Superior Spider-Man. So basically it's Dr. Octopus's mind in Spider-Man's body, and he thinks he could be the better Spider-Man, the superior Spider-Man really. And up next, and the others are, this is not going to be on order because I had to just get them off my shelf, so it's all going to be kind of random. So I've got Batman the Killing Joke, really good stuff. If you ask me which one do I prefer, this or the animated movie, I don't know. I kind of like where the animated movie went, but this is better really. If you want an origin story of Joker, I recommend this. Then we have got the Death of the Family really. So I'm not going to explain this one because I can't remember how it went. Then we got Avengers versus X-Men, and since Fox, Disney owns Fox now, this could actually happen. But it's one of my favourite Marvel comics really. So basically they're trying to bring back the mutants, the X-Men, but I think the Avengers are trying to stop them, but it's too dangerous. I can't remember. I haven't really read this for like 4 years now, but it's a really great comic to read. Then I've got Civil War, which is a great story. I mean, it's loosely, I mean, the movie is loosely based on this, but it kind of goes in its own direction really. But yeah, it's a great read. Then up next I have got the Fantastic Four, the Marvel Now ones. So basically because it started off really good, then it kind of really fell apart for me. So basically, the Reed Richards has this disease, and he's trying to find a cure. So there is nothing on Earth to help him. So he goes to find somewhere out of world. So he takes the other Fantastic Four members and their children on a space trip, and it started off really good, and I think I just lost interest, but it's finished now. Then I've got the Year One, which is probably my favourite Batman comic. Then I've only got Saga Volume 1. I will get back into the other stuff really. I will try and collect like the other paperbacks, but really I prefer comics with just one-off storylines rather than just collecting like a massive series. I think I did that mistake, but yeah, Saga's pretty enjoyable. I will get back into it eventually, no rush really. Then I got the Wolverine. This really started off really good, then it became an X-Men story. I mean, if you ask me which is this or the movie, it's equal, but there's some really great fight scenes, and you also see a different side of Logan. Then I got Sex Criminals, which is another story I will pick up eventually. So basically these couple, every time they have an orgasm, they can stop time for a period of time, and they rob banks and stuff really. It's good, really good. Then I got Wicked and Defiant, and yeah, I will try and get back into this. So basically it's gods resurrected as pop stars. It's really good. I will get back into it. Then I've got Watchmen. Oh my god, I love this comic so much. But if you ask me which is this or the movie, because it does have a different ending, I can't decide. It's just the movie, just by a teensy bit. But it's kind of like just seeing these rundown superheroes who like, it's just so grounded. I just love this. Then I've got my favourite Spider-Man comic of all time, Spider-Man Kraven's Last Hunt. So basically, Kraven the Hunter hunts down Spider-Man, buries him, he dresses up as Spider-Man, think he could be the better Spider-Man. It's so good, so good. Then I've got Spider-Man Blue. It's a nice chillaxing Spider-Man comic really. It doesn't really go much into detail. It's basically Spider-Man just going through his past and learning from his mistakes. Really good. Then I've got Age of Ultron, which is really, if you think, oh, this is where the movie got the idea from, no, it stole the title. That's it really. Ultron is barely in this. It was kind of disappointing. I don't really have anything about this one really. Then I've got the Batman Court of Owls collection really. So, which is actually it's probably my second favourite Batman comic series. So I've got Court of Owls, City of Owls, then I've got Night of Owls. I mean, it's about, the Court of Owls is about 7 years old now, but they're so good, man. They're so good. Then I probably got my first comic book I've ever got in my life, and that was, I think this was originally my dad's, but surprisingly, this is my Death in the Family, and as you can see, it's really old, and it smells really old as well, but it's so good. You know how Joker finally kills Jason Todd, and yeah, I mean, it's so good. Then I've got The Dark Knight Returns. Really good. I highly recommend it to anyone really. I mean, Frank Miller is great. Then I've got Arkham Asylum, which is kind of where the game got the idea from really, but it's more of a visual horror novel rather than a storytelling one. Then I've got probably the biggest X-Men storyline of all time, and that's the Age of Apocalypse really. And yeah, as you can see, it's not particularly in order because I was originally collecting the original prints, and then they really got hard to track down. Then they relaunched them in a different way, and as you can see, it's kind of messy, but at least I can finish the Age of Apocalypse now, and I haven't got much left to do. So I've got the Dark Phoenix saga, my favourite X-Men storyline of all time. I got Days of Future Past, which is amazing, but the movie is slightly better. Then I've got like the Guardians of the Galaxy one. I remember collecting this before the first film came out, and I really enjoyed it. It really got me into Guardians. Then I've got this is another comic book that I was collecting because this was basically all new X-Men. So basically, after the events of X-Men versus the Avengers, Beast kidnaps the original 5 X-Men and basically trying to change Scott's mind, and they decided to stay in the present, and it's really hard to go from there because I really fell in love with this, and I kind of like stopped reading it because it was just too much time consuming. But yeah, go check it out. I will try and pick up on this at some point. Then I got kind of the crossover, which I was just saying, the all new X-Men with the Guardians of the Galaxy. Really good. I do like crossover comics, really. Then I got Battle of the Atom. Really good stuff. It is a major X-Men crossover with like with all new X-Men, Wolverine and the X-Men, Uncanny X-Men. It's really good. Then what else? I've only got 2 more left, thank God. X-Men Rock of Ages. Somebody said to me, you got to check this one out, and yeah, it's pretty mediocre. I don't know why people love this one. And then I got a really small one, which was cheaper than the original edition. So that's basically like Death of the Stacys, you know, the most popular comic of Spider-Man, where Gwen Stacy dies by the Green Goblin. It's pretty good. So up next is the Star Wars novels that I've been collecting since 2016, and these are all the canon ones, which really just gives me more knowledge of the Star Wars universe. I really adore most of these, so I'll go through them. So I got the first issue of the Poe Dameron comic. If you really like Poe Dameron, I'll give this a shot. I thought this one was just okay, but I'll keep my eye on the other volumes. Then I got the one-off Mace Windu one. It gave me... I really like this one because I think Mace Windu is such a really underrated character in the Star Wars universe. Then I got the Darth Maul one, which takes place before the Phantom Menace. How he became that ruthless, waiting for his first mission. That was pretty good. This was the Captain Phasma one, really. And this one was really interesting. I know Captain Phasma gets a lot of bashful because she's such an underutilized character in the Star Wars movies. But really, you got to check this one out because it just shows you how much of a badass she is. Then I've got the Darth Maul Sons of Dathomir one, which is probably one of my favourite Star Wars comics. Then I've got the... what else have I got? I've got the Kanan ones, which I recommend them if you're a fan of Kanan from Star Wars Rebels. Then I've got the Darth Vader comics. I really love this one. I know Darth Vader is my favourite character of all time, movie period, but yeah, I love this. Then I've got the Vader Down, my favourite Star Wars comic. Then I got the Leia one, which is, it's okay. Then I got the Lando one, which is okay again. And I got Shattered Empire, which is like, it was like one of the first things that came out that gives you aftermath of what happened after the Last Jedi, after the Return of the Jedi. And it's pretty good, it's pretty good. Then I've got also one of my favourite ones is the main Star Wars line of the original trilogy. I highly recommend this. Up next is my final comic books, and these are my favourite ones, which are the Power Ranger ones. As you can see, I've got this in this nice holder because that's how much I love them. So yeah, there's kind of like 2 series that are going on at the moment. So there is the Go-Go Power Rangers one, which I'm a little bit behind on. I'm hoping to collect the next volume at some point, but yeah, it's kind of like before Green Ranger, so it kind of focused more on the original 5. And it has kind of a John Hughes to it, really. I mean, the Rangers are kind of managing being a Power Ranger, but also their lifestyle. Yeah, I recommend this one. Then I've got a couple of like one-off stories, which is like the Lost Chronicles, which gives you like a few small story segments. Some of them are really good, some of them are pretty meh. But I recommend some. I still recommend this. Then I got Soul of the Dragon, which is kind of like Tommy Oliver's final entry as becoming a Power Ranger, which was kind of, it was kind of fitting an end. It was kind of like Old Man Logan, but to the Tommy Oliver. But still, I really like this one. I thought it was such a fitting end. Then I got the main Power Rangers, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, which is really good. I highly recommend this one. There's a lot of story stuff going on with like Lord Drakon and Sordon's backstory, and the original, there was another Power Ranger team before them. It's really good. I think this is the best thing to come out of the Neo Saban era, and I'm a little bit behind on it, but I will catch up on this because I just love these. So last but not least is my main novels, and I'll start from the very beginning, which was the Percy Jackson novels. So I remember back in 2010 when the film came out, and my best friend was reading the novels, and I thought to myself, I might get into them too because he's a cool guy. I want to be a cool guy. And I absolutely adore these. I remember like finishing the first book in like 2 days. That's how much I really enjoyed them. They're not for adults probably. They're kind of for kind of, if you like the Harry Potter books, I think you've got to check these one out. I think they're really underrated. And yes, these are way better than the films. Actually the first film was actually pretty decent, but the second film was pretty awful. Then I've got the Hunger Games novels. So yeah, when the first Hunger Games film came out, I wanted to get into the novels. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. I mean, if you ask me which is better, the books of course, but I think my favourite novel is Catching Fire. As you can see, they're not in the best condition, especially the first book here. Then I've got Ready Player One. Yep, the book is better than the film, but it's still a good film. This is a lot of fun to read. It's kind of like The Matrix meets Willy Wonka. Then I got The Martian, really funny to read. Then I got this. I know what you're thinking, what the hell is that? So basically, I didn't know you could do it back in the day, but I didn't know you could do it in general. So basically you can get children's books and customize the names and stuff. So I'm actually in this book, and I'll read you to it. It was a bright and sunny day, and Hendrix Chaplin, aged 2, from Burgess Hill, England, was having fun and playing in the park. Hendrix was waiting for Pingu and Pooh Bear to join him. Suddenly Hendrix heard a sound, someone calling for help. Something bad was happening. He ran over the hill, where he discovered a putty patrol had surrounded the Red Ranger from his wrist communicator lying on the grass to reach out. I was age 2 and I'm 24. Okay, then I've got my Star Wars novels, which I have got a lot. I got up because these are all like the canon Star Wars novels, and I've just been collecting them ever since back in 2015. I've got about 20 so far. I've got another one coming in the post, but I'll go through them. I'll try and go through them in order. So the first one I read was Lords of Sith, which was amazing. If you really want to get into like Emperor Palpatine and Darth Vader's relationship, I highly recommend it. Then I got my second one was Lost Stars, my second favourite novel. I actually did do a video called the top 5 favourite Star Wars novels. I put a link down below if you want to check it out. But I'll just go through this with no particular order now. So I've got Guardians of the Will, Leia, Princess of Alderaan, Thrawn, Rebel Rising, Most Wanted, Last Shot, Rogue One Catalyst, From a Certain Point of View, Phasma. And I will say, if you still think that Phasma is such a rubbish character in the movies, I highly recommend this novel. This really gives you the origins of Captain Phasma. It's kind of like Mad Max to Star Wars. Then I got Tarkin. Then I got Dark Disciples. This is one I recently finished, which was Ahsoka. I got Battlefront Twilight Company, and I have got Bloodline. I also have Thrawn's Alliance and Battlefront 2 Inferno Squad, Smuggler's Run and New Dawn. That is my entire collection. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. Go check out my Facebook, my Twitter and my Instagram page. Give me a like, a share and a subscribe. You guys are awesome. I got your back.